All right, so we're going to write an equation for a line that is perpendicular to the line y equals negative 1/3 x and passes through the point 0, negative 10. So the important part here is that we are going to write an equation for a line, and that line must be perpendicular. Now, one thing we need to remember is that perpendicular lines are based off of their slope. So perpendicular lines have slopes that are flipped fractions and one being positive and one being negative, okay? A lot of people will write this as an opposite reciprocal, okay? I may have spelled that right. Okay, opposite reciprocal. So what we want is a flipped fraction slope that one is positive and one is negative. Okay, so it gives us the line, and the line that it gives us is just simply y equals negative 1/3 x. So y equals negative 1/3 x. And the nice thing, because the y-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, we actually don't have to manipulate this equation at all. So it is already set up for us. So when we do an equation line that is perpendicular, the only thing we really need to do is pay attention to the slope. And the slope in this case is negative 1/3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find the slope that is perpendicular to negative 1/3. And what that means is all we need to do is take that fraction, like I wrote down a second ago, take the fraction and flip it. So instead of 1/3, it is 3/1. And instead of it being negative, it needs to be a positive. So identify what we know in order to write the equation of our perpendicular line. The slope must be 3/1 or just 3, depending on how we want to write it. We know that the line must go through the point 0, negative 10. That is the second requirement of this. So x is going to be 0, y is going to be negative 10. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write down slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And from here, we are simply just going to plug things in. So the y value is negative 10. The m value is 3, and the x value is 0 plus b. Now from here, we are just going to simplify. So we get negative 10, and I'm going to write this 3 times 0, which is 0 plus b. And then from there, we are just going to simplify. 0 plus b is b in negative 10. So once we've got our y-intercept and we know our slope, okay, we are going to now write our final equation. So our final equation is going to be y equals our slope, which is 3x. So 3 is our slope, x is the next variable, so 3 and then our x, plus our y-intercept, which is right here. So y-intercept is negative 10, so plus negative 10, but we can go ahead and clean this up because a positive and negative make a negative, so I can write y equals to 3x minus 10. Now let's go ahead and check this on Desmos to make sure we've met the requirements of this problem. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type in the first equation, which is y equals to negative 1/3 x. Okay. And then I'm going to plug in our second equation, which we found, which should be perpendicular, and going through that point, I'm going to write 3x minus 10. Now, one thing you should be able to see just by looking at it is it looks like that's pretty daggone close to a right angle. Which we know right angle, same thing as two lines that are perpendicular. Right angle is formed by perpendicular lines. Now the other thing we need to check is, does it go through the points 0, negative 10? So I'm going to look for 0, -10. Okay, and check it out. If I trace it all the way down on the green line, if I trace it there, the x value is 0, the y value is -10, and that confirms that we have perpendicular lines. Okay, we've got perpendicular lines, and it goes through 0, -10.